to Nice News. My name is Steve Surridge, aka Mr. Happiness, and yeah, we are going to give you 40 minutes of fun and frolics. It is me behind the glasses. I know that may confuse you. I don't normally wear these. Okay,
And I'm Kaie Cozier, aka KC, your co-host for this evening, and I'll be feeding you lots and lots of nice news stories about sleep, how important it is that we get it, how so many of us don't get a good night's sleep, and what we can do to change that. And to help us along, we've got Nina Vinter, who's a hypnotherapist. Nina's going to give us, thank you, Nina, hello. Nina's going to give us some tips and tricks as to how we can get a good night's sleep, and taking your tablet or phone to bed, or having a quick glass of holy grape juice, as Chris calls it, or a brandy isn't the way.
every week is to bring you about 40 minutes of positivity and to interact and have fun with you guys on the show as well. But first, before we do that, it's time for some nice news.
And as I said, this week's show is going to be about sleep. And my first saying of the day is the best cure for insomnia is to get a lot of sleep. If only. The Dalai Lama does call sleep the best meditation. And you remember we did a show a couple of weeks ago about self-care. And one of the things I mentioned was the importance of a good night's sleep. Unfortunately, we Brits don't really fall into that category. Even BC, before Corona, 60 million Brits suffered from sleepless nights, and nearly a quarter of the population said they only got about 5 hours sleep. I would hazard a guess that since this pandemic, those numbers have increased exponentially. Now, the amount of sleep we need varies, and there's a conflict between some people saying everybody needs 8, everybody needs 6. I think it depends on the individual. We all know that teenagers can sleep for queen and country. Some people can get by on 6 hours sleep, some on 7.5, some what they call elite athletes like Usain Bolt, LeBron James and Roger Federer. They have something called an enhanced sleep regime, which means they get 12 hours sleep. Being the elite athlete that I am, I only need 8 hours. I have to admit, if I don't get 8 hours sleep, then I don't feel as if I can function. And it probably won't surprise you to know that over the centuries, sleep deprivation has been used as a very effective form of torture. And that's because the detrimental effects of not having a night's sleep can be seen within as little as 24 hours. In that time, a lack of sleep is comparable with having a blood alcohol content of 0.10%, which in this country would make you legally drunk. According to the Sleep Council of Britain, 20% of road deaths are related to fatigue. I did get a good night's sleep last night, I promise. And sleep deprivation costs the UK economy over £40 billion a year. Now, as I said, there are a number of sleep disorders. Insomnia is the most common one. At some point in time in our lives, we're all going to suffer from insomnia, whether we're studying for exams, or we're parents of young children, or we're stressing about work, relationships, our health, financial issues. All of those things, including this pandemic, are enough to give us sleepless nights. And ironically, one of the biggest things that keeps us up at night is the stress of not being able to sleep. Thing is, there are a number of stages we go through when we sleep, and during each stage, the body does what I will call essential maintenance. So a lot of us think, oh, if I don't get some sleep tonight, I can catch up on the weekend. Well, the body doesn't actually work that way. If we're not sleeping when we're supposed to be sleeping, the body isn't doing its maintenance. And you know what happens when you don't do maintenance? A breakdown happens. So what is it we can do initially to get a good night's sleep? As I said, Nina will talk to us more about this later. First things first, your tablets and your iPhones and your laptops out of the bedroom. Keep them out of the bedroom, yeah? As I said, alcohol may make you sleepy, but it's a diuretic, and in the end, you'll get up to go to the loo. You can also try scents. Now, lavender is a very well-known sleep aid, but so too are bergamot and jasmine, and they are two of my favorite scents. So like I said, Nina's going to talk to us in a bit about, how important sleep is. why we need it, and how we can make the best of it. But first, Stephen, did you have a good night's sleep last night?
It's funny, actually. I didn't. I was bad this weekend. I had quite a crazy day zooming around North London. And then yesterday, I decided I wasn't going to get up till 3 p.m. I had a really lazy day. And then that wipes you out because I couldn't sleep last night. So, but yeah, I've got to say, sleep is one of the biggest issues of my life, and which is partly why we're doing this show. If I was James Bond, you could put needles in my eyes. You could, rip out my toenails and fingernails. I would not confess the secret plans. But if you deprive me of sleep, I would just tell you, I would tell you everything. Just let me sleep.
You'd be one of those. You'd be one of those that would be telling them even stuff you didn't know.
Absolutely, I'll tell them everything. Yeah. What else do you want to know? What else do you want to know? Yeah.
Well,
so
as
I know I'm not the only one, because we've got in our audience, we've got people with sleep issues. So let's go to, very briefly, who should we choose first? Martin, go to Martin.
I had a very enjoyable yesterday, driving around the countryside of Cambridgeshire in my Morgan with the roof down.
Oh, yes.
Slightly overdid it with the sunshine, which meant that getting to bed at my normal sort of 11:15, at 2 o'clock I woke up feeling rather hot, and at 4 o'clock I was still awake.
Wow.
So I got up, made myself a cup of tea, because in our household that's always been the answer. If you can't get to sleep, get up, make yourself a cup of tea, go and read a magazine or a book for half an hour, and then go back to bed.
Giselle, do you have sleep issues?
Yes, totally, for decades.
What sort of stuff?
I fall asleep, wake up, fall asleep, wake up, fall asleep, wake up. And actually it happens because I moved to a place that's really quiet, and I've been in London my whole life. So actually I do listen to the radio in order to go to sleep. I have to have noise.
Yeah, no, we'll come back to you because we've got our expert Nina who can help with hints and tips and hopefully resolve this. Let's go to Rachel now. Rachel, what sleep issues do you have?
I don't have sleep issues, Steve.
Oh, you're no good then. We'll take you off. We're going to someone else. This is about sleep issues.
So I don't have sleep issues. I'm a night person. But what I do want to say is that, you know what? The thing is, since I started my modeling career at a very young age, I had this thing where I used to work late nights most of the time. What I think is sleep is an issue because of stress. Sleep is an issue because of change in timings. And sleep is an issue because obviously you have something going on in your mind, which could be stress or anything else.
Okay, and have you experienced them?
Yes, when I was in my, when I was shooting for this really important brand, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep all day because I used to think of, what they're going to ask me and what, I don't know. There were lots of things on my mind, basically, So yeah, I couldn't sleep at night, and then I used to be like into the camera.
I felt like that. What we do, we come back to you then, Rachel, because we got Nina's our expert, and she can tell us what you can do. Let's go to Nina now. So Nina, can you hear us okay?
Absolutely, yes.
Brilliant, excellent. So you're our sleep expert then. So, so can you tell us briefly then the importance of sleep and its benefits to us as human beings?
It's absolutely vital. You're right, as Kaie says, it's some people need few hours and some need many hours. A newborn baby may need 17 hours. An older person may only need 7 hours. It's the quality of the sleep that is vital for our bodies and our minds to be able to function to our full capacity. We have to have quality. So like Kaie says about a machine, if we don't, and the body is a machine or like a machine, and if we don't oil the cogs and look after it properly, it just breaks. Stress breaks the machine.
Yeah, and that leads to illness or dis-ease, as the language tells us, isn't it? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so what is stopping people getting a decent night's sleep then?
All sorts of things. You've heard a couple of them from your people listening. If we think about the body, it could be that we've been taking stimulants, certain foods, certain drinks, nicotine, certain drugs, caffeine. If we've been down the gym, you know, we have adrenaline whizzing about. Somebody who's been out on a drive and having lots of fresh air, lots of oxygen, it's a stimulant. So we might have a medical condition. You know, you might have a bladder irritation and need to get up for the bathroom several times. So we're all very different. Some people say that it's a change of routine that upsets, you know, why we can't sleep. But I personally do agree with Rachel. It's a lot to do with stress. Yeah, a lot to do with stress, because we think about things. You know, we might be agitated when we climb into bed. We might feel stressed. We might feel anxious, angry, upset. We're mulling over the day. What has happened? What could we have done better? You know, the first chance we get into bed, it may be the first time that somebody's had a chance to relax. Maybe they've got busy lives, busy children, and they get into bed and suddenly the mind starts to work and work and work. And we worry. Will we succeed? Will we fail? So the mind is very stimulated. So it causes problems.
That stimulation, I can relate to that, definitely.
Yeah. Nina, can I just ask, do you think that I've spoken about how stressing about stuff can stop people sleeping? Do you think that this whole pandemic and the fear and anxiety around it is contributing to the lack of sleep that 16 million Britons and probably more are not getting?
Without any doubt, Kaie, without any doubt. People feel out of control. We don't know what's happening tomorrow. We don't know how to behave with other people. We don't know when we get on a bus whether we're going to be sitting next to somebody with COVID-19. We are worried about our jobs. We're worried about our children. Yes, and the mind is busy because we are out of control. It's unpleasant. Yes.
Okay. What I haven't done so far is mention that you're a hypnotherapist.
Yes.
So how can hypnotherapy help people sleep better?
Okay, so I use something called responsive hypnotherapy, which is where the client is awake. Okay, but it's hypnotherapy, and those feelings that we've been talking about, I remove. They just go. So whether it's anxiety or stress or lack of confidence, or basically the feelings where we're unhappy, those feelings that preoccupy the mind, I take them away. And I place in confidence, satisfaction, calmness, rest, all of these things that we need to be able to sleep. That's what I do as a hypnotherapist.
Okay. And how many sessions do people need to resolve their sleep issues?
I see them once. I see them for 3 hours once, and that's usually suffice.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. So we obviously haven't got you as our hypnotherapist this evening, but we've got you on call. Are there hints and tips you can give us later in the show that we can all apply to get a decent night's sleep?
Absolutely. Happy to. Yes.
Brilliant. Excellent. So stay with us then, everyone. We're going to come back to Nina. But first of all, it is time for some more nice news.
What I wanted to do at this point is share a very personal story about my own sleep deprivation. I have suffered with insomnia on and off over the years. A lot of it is due to stress, but sometimes it was due to exams and just worrying about life in general. But I had a situation about 10 years ago where I was offered the opportunity to step into management. The only downside, if you want to call it that, was that I was working the graveyard shift. For those of you who don't know, my background is also in marketing, creating marketing products for investment banking materials. So we have a shift called the graveyard shift, which is from from midnight till 8 o'clock in the morning. And I said yes, gung ho. I was up for it, or I thought I was up for it. That 3 months wrecked my body and nearly wrecked my mind. But the story I want to share, I actually thought was a bit of a funny one. So I'd gone shopping one day, and bearing in mind, I'd gone from working days to working graveyards. So sleep was a big issue for me. I could not get a decent night's sleep. So I'd gone shopping, come home, packed everything away, and then I thought, I'll do some washing. Loaded up the washing machine, could not find the fabric softener. And I knew I bought fabric softener because I bought one of those huge bottle ones. And I'm like, but where could it be? I looked in the bedroom, I looked in the living room. And after a good half an hour, still couldn't find the fabric softener. I thought, okay, let me just get myself something to drink. Opened the fridge, and there, front and center, was the fabric softener. The joke about it was I had to move shelves in the fridge, and I had to move things around to put this bottle of fabric softener in the fridge. And whilst I stood there laughing at myself, thinking, what else have you done that is completely silly? Did you put vinegar in the washing machine? Did you put mayonnaise in your hair thinking it was conditioner when you were washing it? I was also really, really concerned because I thought, if I can do this in my house, what else can I do? And I knew it was because I wasn't sleeping. So within a couple of weeks of that, I handed in my resignation. And I thought it's no amount of management experience is worth you losing your health and your sanity for, and especially not hiding fabric softener in the fridge.
No, that is alarming. And the question is, what was you putting in the washing machine?
I don't want to, Stephen, that's the part I didn't want to go to. It was just like, okay, well, I've had enough crazy for one time. So I, of course, took the fabric softener out of the fridge, and then went and slept, I think. But yeah, sleep deprivation, as I said, I see now why they use it as torture, because not sleeping is torture, because that's all you then think about. Whatever you're doing, I want to sleep, and then you get to bed and you can't sleep because you're still wired about not being able to sleep. So yeah.
Let's ask Nina then. Nina, is that like commonplace, Kaie's story?
Yes. I mean, Kaie was out hopping into a new routine of life, and because of that, her sleep pattern has changed now till this point already. It was a stress that went through, and that's the sort of thing that can be changed. Those feelings of anxiety and management, all those things, that would go. So that, for me, I believe I would be able to help you, yes. Let's
go then to our audience now. Deirdre, we know Deirdre wanted to discuss a problem that she's got around.
Hello, Deirdre. Hi, Dee.
I've suffered with a sleep disorder for many years. I'm currently in remission, and part of that is because I suffered with sleep apnea, which means that during the night you stop breathing in and out, and it's because you're not getting enough oxygen into your airwaves. And so it's a vicious circle, I should say, because they say one of the things that helps it is if you lose weight. But then if you're not getting enough sleep, you start craving all kinds of food, like food that filled with sugar, caffeine. And so therefore you're in that loop because you're not getting more than probably, maybe if you're lucky, 4 or 5 hours sleep. And so therefore the weight comes on. And so therefore it puts you in a position where you never kind of get out of it. I would wake up some mornings with headaches and whatnot. And it also meant that when I finally got a diagnosis, I had to wear this uncomfortable, unattractive piece of kit called a CPAP machine. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but it's like, one of those fog masks with a long hose. It's a passion killer. That's all I can say. And there's nothing worse than having to go through an airport security with this machine. You get stopped all the time. They swab it down. It's, it's not, it's part of not, it doesn't make your life that much easier.
Nina, what can you say? What advice can you give Deirdre on?
Okay. First, I want to say, well done, Deirdre, for still smiling, because it is tough. It's really tough having sleep apnea. You mentioned it yourself, diet. It is about making sure that you get into a rhythm of eating 3 times a day the right way. And when you eat food the right way, you don't fancy snacking in between, okay? So that helps you. It's all to do with diet. And once you get your diet sorted, your energy will increase, your body will function properly, your mind will function, and you'll have rest. So it is about diet, yes.
Are there certain times of day that we should be eating, Nina?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's true, the old wives' tale that says breakfast is the most important time of the day. Important. 5 hours later, you need to have lunch. 5 hours later, you need to have tea. And not eating too late. So if you want to eat at 6 o'clock, you work back 5 hours, work back 5 hours.
So if we have tea, well, what's the latest we should eat before we go to sleep?
Good point. Very good point. Again, it depends what we do in the evening and what time we go to bed. Really, we should leave a good 3 to 4 hours before we go down to sleep, because the body's still working with what we have swallowed. We need to give it time. So I would say an ideal time is no later than 7 o'clock. Probably more like 6 o'clock to have your evening meal. Yes.
Wow, I'm going to have to completely reschedule my whole life then.
Yeah.
But
if you want to have a good night's sleep, yes.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. How's that sound, Deirdre?
That sounds pretty good, actually, because I think that's one of the things that I struggle with, getting in meals at regular set times, and it does make a difference, because I know when I do sleep well, I eat well. I can always tell when I haven't slept well and how it impacts my eating. So I think that's quite crucial.
No, brilliant. Thanks for that. Let's go to Giselle. Giselle's flagged a little blue hand on my Zoom here. Giselle, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just wondering, because it pretty much started when I had a baby. Do you think my mind is just still programmed to be getting up as if I still had that baby, even though it's 20-something years ago? Because I think that's when it started, yeah.
Good point. When we are mums, and sometimes it's dad, but often it's mums, we are on hyper alert. We can hear if the baby suddenly squeaks or if they turn. We are alert. Nurses are very alert all the time because they can hear their patients 6 beds away. So you have this alert button. Absolutely. Again, find a hypnotherapist, or come to me, find a hypnotherapist who can remove that constant awareness and alert.
Oh, thank you.
Cut it off. Remove it. Yeah?
Because I think, it just came to me just then. I think this had started then, and I haven't put down that hypervigilance.
Well done. Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you.
You'll have peace.
Wow, no, that's brilliant. Okay, no, that's cool. Thank you for that. Thanks for that, Giselle. So so we're going to come back to Nina in a moment. But first, before we do that, it's time for some more nice news.
Stephen, again, if I said to you sleepover, you would probably think about a group of little children, or maybe a group of teenage girls spending one night at their friend's house. But this is a different kind of sleepover. This one involved 100 odd elderly people and close to 7 weeks. Now, as you know, care homes and nursing homes have been particularly hard hit during this pandemic. High infection rates and residents and staff being cut off from their family, their friends and their loved ones. But in France, a lady called Valérie Martin runs a nursing home, and she came up with a very novel idea of stopping coronavirus from infecting any of her residents. She decided she was going to completely close off the building, and so invited staff members and nurses to join her in what she thought would be a 3-week quarantine lockdown. So the majority of the staff said yes. They called themselves the happily confined. They volunteered to stay, they bought pillows and sleeping bags and spent the night sleeping. Well, as I said, she thought it was going to be 3 weeks. It turned into nearly 7. But Valerie's persistence and determination paid off when on I believe it was the 4th of May, sometime at the beginning of May, coronavirus tests came back negative for all of her residents. Now, one of the caregivers said it was a bit tough, but on the whole, they had fun. They had theme evenings, they cooked special meals, they threw water bombs at each other, and they even planned a pretend wedding. Now, some of the pictures that you're going to see if you watch the replay, there's one particular resident, and I looked at her and I thought, if ever I go into a care home, that's going to be me. All the other residents are holding up balloons and signs saying thank you. This lady is sticking her tongue out. And I thought, that'll be me. If I ever get into a care home, I'm going to be the one sticking my tongue out.
That's amazing. Kaie, I'll join you. I'll be the one throwing the water bomb.
I know it, Stephen. I know you'll have a pile just there. I'll be sticking out. You'll probably be throwing one at me as I'm sticking my tongue out.
That's why you'll be throwing. I'd miss you, and you'd poke your tongue out, going, I'll throw another one. So. Yeah. No, we mentioned on the show in past weeks about frequency, which is the new science and that. And is it no surprise when these people in the lockdown, they chose to focus on fun and a sense of community and enjoyment, and they come out with a 0 COVID rating?
Yeah.
Not a surprise when you know the bigger scheme of things, isn't it? So the rest of the world does need to catch up. Right, okay, so we are going to hear some powerful testimonials now from two of Nina's past clients, mother and daughter, who have benefited from Nina's wisdom. Okay, we're going to Zoe Beth, your daughter, first of all. Zoe Beth, you're there, where are you? So tell us your story then, and how did Nina help you overcome your sleep issues?
So my sleep issues were all based around stress and anxiety. So my amazing mum, she managed to find Nina through a colleague of hers at work. And yeah, literally one session, it was like, I think it was 3 hours, and you are fully conscious and awake throughout the whole thing. But I don't know how you did it, Nina, but I don't have those problems anymore. My anxiety's gone for the most part, and it's peaceful. That's the only way I can describe it. It's just peaceful.
Okay, so where you weren't sleeping to where you're now sleeping, how big a difference would you describe that change in lifestyle?
It's massive, absolutely massive. Like, because I've picked a very fun line of work, and I thought it'd be a great idea to be a self-employed musician. So, musician life, late nights, lots of surprisingly working at screens most of the day, so headaches from that regular, and I just can never get to sleep because you end up working so late at night, and then it just didn't happen. But now, even though I still do have to work late, I've got these practices from Nina. Like, my most favourite thing to do now, I do a 5-10 minute meditation literally as I go to bed, and it's just it makes such a difference. I can't even. Nina is like a miracle worker. I love that.
No, that's really interesting, because a lot of people will be able to associate that their life is chaotic, and like being a musician, having to work late, and I know when you perform, for the performers that are watching this, you get a buzz of adrenaline, don't you, when you and you cannot sleep. Does it help overcome that then? Does it help you manage that buzz? Absolutely,
because you still definitely get that buzz, but you're able to shut it off quicker and have that switch of work mode into I need to go to bed now kind of mode, and it's just that switch is so much easier now. And I just get to sleep really quickly from it. So
wow, I'm intrigued by this now. I want to know Nina's secret. Thank you so much, Rachel, Zoe Beth, for that. We're going to mother now. I think we got your mother. We got your mother back. She's Rachel now. So Rachel, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine, Stephen.
And you're on the sunny Isle of Wight, are you, in freshwater?
I am on the sunny Isle of Wight in freshwater.
So tell us your story then, Rachel. You're Zoe Beth's mum. Why did you need Nina, and what has she done for you?
I needed Nina after I saw the results that she produced in my daughter. So my daughter was having a really tough time with some anxiety, and I saw the most amazing results. Nina gave me my daughter back, and Zoe Beth could sleep, and she seemed so much more confident and able to live and not have those anxieties. And I thought, actually, and I've been thinking about it for a while, and I'm a nurse, and I do have difficulty sleeping, and I have difficulty with eating, and I saw Nina, it was only 10 days ago actually, and she has changed everything without me even realising. I'm not even having to try. So she's helping me with my eating, but because I'm eating properly, and she has taken away all those triggers and that stress for me, that when I'm going to bed, I am falling asleep much more quickly than I ever have, ever. Sometimes it used to take me 2 or 3 hours to go to sleep. And if I woke up in the night, I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep again. Now that has completely changed just in the last 10 days. I can go to sleep relatively quickly. If I do stir in the night, it's literally, I come to and I go back to sleep, and I'm getting up in the morning totally refreshed, which is unheard of.
Wow, you've got me so intrigued now. What
And I can't tell you,
Yeah.
even just how I am, and I'm sitting here with my husband actually, and he said, you're really different, as in a calmer person, just more relaxed, and it's showing at work as well. So it's in this method that Nina does is incredible.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing.
I think we're all round. I think we're all round to Nina's at the end of this.
I know. Nina's going to have to get busy, I think. She's
Nina,
client base.
yeah, Nina. I think you've got a whole new set of clients.
No, that's brilliant. Nina, we are going to come back to you because I want to know some of these hints and tips that you can give us. But first, it is time for some more nice news.
Funny listening to Zobeth talk about how she couldn't get to sleep, and then her mum saying, you know, she's got her daughter back, because I know that as parents, trying to get young kids to sleep can sometimes be a battleground. We talk about us adults not getting enough sleep, but we all know that kids and bedtime are like oil and water. They don't mix, and it can be a stressful process. So when I came across this story, I was like, yeah, I like the way this lady thinks. In a truly genius move, and I do believe it is a genius move, a mother in Massachusetts decided to get really creative when it came to getting her 2 young daughters to relax before bedtime. Her name is Jessica Dontremo, and she's got 2 daughters, Emma, who's 4, and Hannah Law, who's 3. And they'd gone out one day, come home, were particularly hyper, and Jessica was like, you know what? I need to get these kids to bed, but I know it's going to be lots of tears and lots of meltdowns. So what she decided to do was tell her daughters to go and put on some pajamas she got them for Halloween. They're glow-in-the-dark pajamas. And she said to them, you need to go and lie down on the bedroom floor under the light, and you need to lie really, really still so that these pajamas can charge and the light can glow. And they're like, okay. So they went perfectly still, put the pajamas on and lay down on the floor. And they were so still that she took a picture and she put it on Facebook. And she said, this is my kids charging their pajamas. She said, yeah, it might be a little bit sneaky, but you know what? I'm not even sorry. The post has gone viral with over 200,000 likes, over 120,000 shares, and tens of thousands of comments. But she says, you know, children can be a little wise. You think you're smart, they turn out to be a little bit smarter. So she said, before the girls started asking about the charging of the pajamas, she's actually said to them, now, when you take them off during the day, I'm going to put them in the cupboard so that they don't charge until you put them back on tonight and lie down on the floor under the light again and recharge them. I love it. That is genius. That is
so good.
Genius.
That's another one for Nina. If she's got like any clients that have got young kids, that just get the charged pajamas.
Yeah, but they need to be glow-in-the-dark pajamas. You don't just put them in pajamas. They've got to be glow-in-the-dark something. You know,
they must be on Amazon. You must be able to get them.
Listen, Amazon, eBay, anything. You can buy it. You can buy it.
Never heard of that before. Glow-in-the-dark pajamas. Wow, that is cool.
That is
so
cool.
Let's go back to Nina then before we wrap up. So Nina, very briefly, 3 minutes you got. What hints and tips can you give us all? You've convinced us with the testimonials that you are the sleep guru to go to change our lives and get better sleep. But what little hints and tips can you give us so we can all benefit?
Okay, so yes, I've got some hints for all of you, and just choose from those which may help you. So responsive hypnotherapy, remember, helps you to get through into the routine of making these. But here's the things. 1, get your diet sorted, okay? Really work on that. Reduce your stress in the day. That might be more difficult, but that's the other one. Eat and drink sensibly, okay? So not too late, and use the type of foods that aren't going to stimulate you at night. And you need to laugh. You need to laugh at least once a day, okay? At least once a day. Fresh air every day, important. If you can't get out because of the weather or because you are housebound, you open the window and breathe it in. That's what you need to do. Routine. Try and get into the habit of getting to bed every day at around the same time. Make sure that your bed is comfortable. Make sure you've got the right sort of cushion, that there is silence there, that there is some peace, and the one next door doesn't make too much noise and doesn't shuffle about too much, because you need to have that peace, that switch off facility. I think it's a good idea to think of 10 good things about your day. Just go through your mind. Let's think about today. What did I do? I woke up. That's a pretty good one. You know, I can drink, I can taste things, I can smell things, I've seen people. 10 things, easily you can do that. Reduce the UV light stimulant, reduce the phones, the laptops, the TVs. That's important, especially not late at night. Not a good idea. Now there are many other suggestions. Music, for example, calm music, reading a good book that is fun, not too scary. That's really important. Just being happy and not trying too hard to get to sleep, because you will get to sleep if you just go, I'm just going to just relax. That's what you have to try and do. Not worry too much, because worry just creates worry.
Yeah, so it's the mind, relaxing the mind then is the key to this, yeah. Absolutely. Okay, brilliant, excellent. And Nina, because your phone's not going to stop ringing now, if people want to contact you, where can they go?
Yes. Well, I have a clinic in Lancing in West Sussex. It's called The Zone. It's a private clinic, and people just call me up, or they find me on the internet, on Google Hypnotherapist in Lancing. The website is called www.ninashypnotherapy.co.uk.
We'll put that on screen, no worries. Yeah,
that's great.
No, that is brilliant. Thank you so much. So that is everything. That's everything we're done this week. Thank you everyone for sharing your stories. Thank you, Nina, so much for giving us so much needed guidance. I think this is a topic we're going to have to come back to, and I'm so convinced about the power of your work from hearing Zoe Beth and Rachel's.
Thank you.
Rachel's testimonials, because that, I think we can all relate to how difficult life becomes when you can't sleep.
Yep.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Such a powerful show. Yeah. So we are back next week then, and next week's subject is the voice within, all about the conversation going on between our ears. So join us then. That's a powerful one. You can contact us via email here, our YouTube and Instagram channel here.
And Facebook. Don't forget Facebook.
We're on Facebook, streaming live in sync with this show on Zoom tonight. That's it. I will see you next week. Thank you for joining us. Kaie, you get the final sign off.
Just wanted to say a quick, don't forget our gratitude challenge. It was 30 days 2 weeks ago. Join in, however, whenever you can. Our show on the 17th of August is going to have a look back at those of us who kept a gratitude journal, and we're going to pinpoint the things that we consistently are grateful for, that we put down, that we haven't realized, that we keep jotting down. And we're going to talk about what changes keeping a 30-day gratitude journal has meant for you. So join us then on the 17th, and I will leave you with another sleep quote. I'm so good at sleeping, I can do it with my eyes closed.